Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow, and I have been hard at work. So, a lot of you guys know I've been really working on this passive income series of videos, to try and help people launch various types of businesses. And I've been laying out a lot of the groundwork, things from starting your YouTube channel, setting up your WordPress site, Amazon product research, things of that nature, just to kind of get everybody's feet wet. And I have spent now, I don't even remember when the first video was, but I have spent probably a week every night, several hours, well, like morning, noon, and night, but several hours daily just doing product research. Okay. And I have been doing a lot of, for those of you that are watching this and you're not familiar with me at all, I have a background in I've been self-employed pretty much the majority of my life. I have a background in business development, marketing, sales, all of that fun stuff. And I started off in this whole thing with the Amazon FBA. I watched a lot of videos. I still watch videos. I mean, I listen to videos. If I'm painting or if I'm doing anything else, I've got videos about Amazon FBA going. And it's been really exciting, and it still is. I don't want you to get me wrong. But I'm going to tell you straight up that I firmly believe that the majority of these people on YouTube are completely full of shit. And I absolutely mean that. I am watching these guys and I'm seeing what they're claiming, and of course they're all selling these big courses. A lot of them are, they're showing off cars and money and houses and this and that. You've got these young guys, 23, 24, and they're doing work in their big, $1 million mansions and shit. You don't know that that's mommy and daddy's house. I mean, you just don't. You don't know where the hell they're at. You don't know if they're at an Airbnb for all you know. And from the research that I've done, I am going to hazard a guess and say that I can't even imagine how many of these guys could possibly be legitimate. And I'm going to show you why. Now, I want to also preface this by saying that I am not saying it's not possible to build an extremely successful business with Amazon FBA. I am quite confident that it is. I will also say that it is definitely not the pipe dream that the majority of these guys are trying to sell you on. It's just not. I've been crunching numbers. I've been crunching numbers and talking to suppliers and doing all sorts of stuff. Just in a week, okay? Just preparing, because I'm still doing it, okay? So no matter what the outcome of this video is, I'm still doing it, because I don't believe that you can truly, I don't think that you can truly base a business strictly off of the numbers, okay? Because there are a lot of different elements that go into this. What I am going to say is that in all the product research I've done, I have yet to find a product that I believe wholeheartedly I could get 10x returns on a consistent basis. Because the majority of what I've seen, and I've done product research across the board of all price ranges, you name it, okay? In all industries. I'm not worried about whether or not it's garden and hosing or electronics or whatever. I've been looking up everything like a madman, okay? And I'm going to show you guys one example, okay? This is just one example of something that I've been working on. I've been working on multiple. Obviously, if you remember, my idea is to try and establish like 3 to 4 different use cases in 3 to 4 different industries and completely different price points, as well as a variety of different marketing schemes, okay? Maybe I'm doing off-site marketing, off-site meaning completely off Amazon. whether that be from web marketing, SEO, Facebook marketing, YouTube ads, that sort of thing. You know, doing another where I'm strictly doing Amazon pay-per-click, another where I'm just focusing on something that's less expensive, but I'm just trying to let it rely on just Amazon listings, people that are finding it through keyword research, things like that. And then one of them has become an ebook. Okay. The ebook is getting ready to launch. My wife wrote it, and you know, I think it's actually pretty cool. But I also understand that the business of ebook writing, fictional writing, especially like in the romance genre, it takes time. It takes multiple books to build up momentum and to continue building interest from new readers and establishing a following of readers and things like that. So that's not a typical product, but it is a use case for these case studies, because I know that there are a lot of you out there who maybe really love writing, or maybe you are a guru in a particular field and you could write a very good nonfiction how-to guide and benefit from affiliate links within the book, that sort of thing. So there are a lot of different opportunities in that realm. There are a lot of opportunities all around. But if you've been looking at my numbers while I'm talking, so we're calling this product test. Now, the original product that I found was actually selling for $49.99. Okay. In its sales, there were a few different competitors selling the identical product. And I went through and I was reading all of the low reviews. Okay. And trying to figure out what are the problems with this? Why are people complaining about it? And there were some quality issues with the product. So I went back and I went to the manufacturer and I said, hey, I'm interested in creating my own version of this product. These are the things that I want to do. How can we work this out? Now, typically their minimum MOQ, which is basically the minimum order quantity, is 500. But to establish a new relationship with me, they're willing to let me try it out. My own custom product, mind you, and let me order just 200 at a time. Okay. My unit cost is $13.24 a piece at 200. If I order 500, then I can lower this price down to like $12.60. Okay. But we're basing this off of a 200 unit run. The initial cost for that product is $2,648. Now, I should put this last. But based off of this price point, Amazon's FBA fee, okay, FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. Ultimately, the goal is I design this product, I get it manufactured, I ship it to the US, I ship it directly to an Amazon fulfillment center. From there, they take care of all of the orders for me. I don't have to touch it. I just monitor my inventory and I reorder as necessary, okay? But to do that, they're going to charge me $8.85 per unit to fulfill those orders, to handle returns, to handle customer service, to handle all of that. On top of that, they're going to charge me roughly $9 per unit, okay? Basically a total of almost $18 per unit. Just for, well, between the Amazon FBA fee, then the referral fee. The referral fee is basically just for giving me the privilege to sell on Amazon because I'm using their built-in traffic. Fair enough, okay? They're drawing in the customers. I'm basically just putting something on their shelf in their store. Okay, so I've got to pay rent, all right, which is very common. It's not much different than, you know, any retail store, grocery store. I mean, companies are paying to place their products there. Fair enough. Now, one of the concerns that I read in the some of the reviews of this particular product were that the wood felt very cheap. Ultimately, it was a pressed wood, which is the reason for that. Well, I discovered that I could upgrade the wood used in this particular piece for $300 per run of 200. Okay, ultimately $150 a unit. extra to upgrade the wood from pressed wood to a pine. All right. Shipping. I see a lot of these guys on Amazon talking about product shipping, saying it only costs a couple $100. And they're talking about thousands of units for all kinds of stuff. No. To ship the product, based off of the quote they gave me, now granted, there are ways of reducing this, but there are a variety of different fees associated with shipping products from Amazon to the United States. And there's a big difference between doing it by air or by doing it by sea. Sea is typically only something you're going to want to do if you're doing giant containers full of products. You know, like if you're ordering, 20,000 units of a product, or basically enough to fill up a giant shipping container, then sea is going to be cheaper. But for smaller runs of 200 units of a particular product, or even 500 in a lot of cases, just doing it by air courier is going to be cheaper. It's still $1,250. Now, granted, this product is probably going to be a little heavier than most. Okay, so there's that. Then I have a $250 SKU fee. So basically, my SKU is ultimately my barcode, right? Then on top of that, I've got a $360 mold fee, because in this item, there is, we'll just say there's glassware, okay? There's glass in it. And there are features to this unit, and I'm trying to be a little, because I may end up doing this anyway, just to see what happens, just as a test case. I've been doing all the due diligence on it and everything. I might as well give it a shot, but I am still undecided. I do have like 5 other products that I'm working on. However, the mold fee is basically taking the centerpiece of this particular product and giving it's something completely different. Okay, so they want to charge $360 to create a mold of what I've sent them and make that the centerpiece for this particular product. Okay, this is what is ultimately, there are going to be a multitude of things that differentiate my product from what's already out there. However, it increases my costs. The upside to this is the mold fee is a one-time fee. Once they have it, that's it. Also, the SKU is a one-time cost per product. Okay, now if I created different variations of this product, I would have to create a SKU for each one of those variations, whether it was different colors or sizes or whatever. But for the sake of the demonstration, we're just saying this is one run for right now. So my cost per run, my total cost per run is about $4,800. Okay? Yeah. So when you're looking at the initial MOQ, the cost for $2,648. No. It was much deeper than that. Basically looking at around $5,000. Okay? And this is not including any marketing costs. Just keep that in mind. So this is my per unit breakdown. $13.24 per unit, $1.50 to upgrade the wood to pine, $6.50 per unit for shipping, $1.25 per unit for the SKU, $1.80 for the mold fee. My total being $24.29 per unit. That's just my cost. Then my retail price, I have to make mine more expensive. So I originally thought, well, maybe I could do $65, but I don't know if that would work. So I think, okay, $59.99. It's basically $10 more per unit. And my costs are a lot higher. I could get this cheaper, but my costs are a lot higher. So, my retail price is $60. Then my Amazon fees of $17.85. My profit per unit, after all my expenses, is $17.85. So I'm basically going to make $17.85 for each one of these that sell. I'm making a total profit of $3,570 after all of this work. Not only that, but I have to account for the fact that it could take 30 to 60 days for the manufacturing process. Then it could take another up to like 30 days just to ship it here from China. So that's 90 days. So if I take this 90 days into account, I can basically divide this profit over the period of 3 months. Because actually longer than that, because it would ultimately like be 4 months before I actually sold anything, or 4 months, 3 months to get everything. So I've got my manufacturing time, my lead time, and then my shipping time. I get it, then I start selling it, and this is hoping I were to sell out of that 200 units within that first month. Okay, so initially it's a big risk. All right. And the fact of the matter is, this is going to be it's a similar situation for just about any product you sell. Okay. Every product you sell is a risk. Everything that you're doing on Amazon is risky. I don't know how many videos I've watched where people lost $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 getting into Amazon FBA because it's a crapshoot. Okay. Is this product going to sell? What's the competition like? There's a lot of legwork that goes into it. And in future videos, I will be showing a lot of this stuff. Now, so let's just say that 3570, let's just say I divide it over 90 days. Okay, forget the month that I'm hoping it sells. All right, 3570. I'm going to divide this by, let's just say 3 months. That's 1190 per month in profit. Okay, that's for my first order. Okay, so $11.90 per month over the first 3, let's just say, I mean, realistically, probably, let's just, okay, 3 months. All right. Now, and some of you guys are probably already saying, but Crow, what if my product is better? What if my product is cheaper? What if my margins are better? Yada, yada, yada. I get it. Good luck. I'm telling you, I have other products that I'm researching that I'm going to try. You want to know one of the #1 products that sold and made a bunch of people like $1 million? Scratch off maps. And guys were customizing these. And originally I thought, well, why don't I do my own? What industry would I, and then I started breaking it down and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I could do these really cheap. They probably sell. They're really light. They're easy to store. They're cheap to store, yada, yada, yada. But in the grand scheme of things, the way I'd want to do it, I would almost need one for every state. And, it becomes a huge deal. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, but yeah, it's products like that, these fad products that, some guys are saying stay away from fads. I'm learning that a lot of these guys, what they're telling you to stay away from are exactly the shit that they profit from the most. I'm like shocked by it. So anyway, so that's $11.90. We're going to average this out to $11.90 per month in profit. Now, if I were to take this money, this $5,000 basically, okay, and you know what? And this goes even further. So you've got pay-per-click ads, all right? So especially if you're a brand new product, while you are likely going to be able to capitalize on people punching in, the target keywords for what that product is, they're going to find you depending on the competition, right? They may or may not find you. And if they don't, well, then you're going to need to do pay-per-click ads because you've got no reviews. You have no presence on Amazon. Nobody knows anything about your product. And while it may look similar and make claims to be better, until people have bought it and confirmed it in their reviews, you've got nothing. So you're likely going to want to do some pay-per-click marketing to drive attention to your product. Okay? Now, and while this is all going to sound really negative, okay, I'm going to be honest, and it is to an extent, I'm discovering what I've discovered with a pretty good amount of confidence what is the most profitable business model for Amazon, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. I wasn't planning on it, but I might as well. Now, the other question is do you sell out? If you only sell 100 of these in your first month, that's probably being very optimistic. Well, then you're going to have to pay Amazon an additional fee. So if you're not moving product, if you're not moving it quickly, Amazon charges you an additional fee to have it sitting in their warehouse. To calculate that, I don't even know. based on size of the box and weight and everything else. But basically, you're regurgitating money for as long as these products are sitting there. Then you've got your competitors. You know, depending on what your product is, if somebody thinks, hey, look what this guy's doing, I want to do that too, they could just go and try and copy you and do the same thing. Maybe lower the price a little bit. Maybe they have a bigger pay-per-click budget, so forth and so on. Then you've got returns. Somebody doesn't like your product because they thought it was too cheap, or, you know, they thought it was going to look different or whatever. Well, now you've got return products. What are you going to do with those? Those cost you money. You probably, depending on whether or not it was broken or whatever happened. But that's now, this is a big thing. The coronavirus. I don't see many people talking about this, but if they don't think for a second that the coronavirus is going to pose a significant problem for manufacturers in China, the reality is China could shut down. I mean, it's tragic what's going on over there, and it's not getting any better. Even mandatory holidays for employees have been extended. You know, they're telling everybody, lock yourself in your house and don't leave until we get this stuff sorted. So it's a very big deal, okay? And to be realistic about it, you trying to launch a new product right now in the midst of this coronavirus stuff, it's probably going to be pretty difficult. I'm expecting some pretty drastic delays. And on top of that, if you're trying to launch products with people that are already selling stuff that's similar, I believe we're going to run into an inventory game at that point. People are going to start raising their prices on product to slow their inventory from going down because they know they're not going to get new supplies for a longer time than they originally thought. So it's going to be a very interesting period for Amazon FBA sellers here moving forward. And then finally, you've got offsite marketing. You know, this is pay-per-click ads on, but, you know, what if you want to do YouTube ads? What if you're going to do Facebook ads? You know, you've got additional expenses, okay? And this is all just for one product. Now, if I bought one Bitcoin on January 7th, it would have cost me $7,900. Today, on February 7th, that same Bitcoin's worth $97.86. For a difference of $1,886. So let's say you only bought half a Bitcoin. Well, you'd have a little bit more than half. Let's just say you would have made $750 in profit. Just basically buying something and setting it down. You're talking a 38% increase. Okay? That's just for 1 month of holding Bitcoin. Now, and I'm going to come back to the Amazon product stuff. We're not done here, but I want to show you a couple other things. This is basically the 38% climb just in the past month. Now, you obviously have some pretty significant pullbacks as well, right? But if when you are, let's put it this way. Let's say you get to the point where you sold 100 of your product in a month. Well, now you know you've got to order another run. You got to order another run now because you don't want to get penalized. You don't want Amazon to smack you in the face as a new user because you ran out of product. You didn't have enough inventory. And they can hit you pretty hard from what I've gathered. Now, that's another $5,000. Well, no. It won't be. Let's just say it's another $4,300 because your mold fee and your SKU are already done. So you can take, you know, $600 out of that. So you're, you know, $4,300, $4,200. Do you have that? I hope so, because you're going to need it if you want to keep your product going and you want to keep your, let's say you started to build some momentum. People are posting reviews. You're starting to build things up. It's moving. It's a cool product. You made a good choice. You made a good risk, took a good risk, made a gamble, but now you're running out of inventory. Well, you got to double down. You got to go out and buy more inventory to keep that product flowing. It's a good problem to have, but it's not if you have cash flow issues. Okay? And so that is the nature of Amazon to that extent. Now, we're looking at a 38% increase in Bitcoin alone. These ebbs and flows are pretty significant. However, if I go to Bitcoin stock to flow and I see the increases, okay, obviously, you know, most of you that are watching this know about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market and the 4-year cycle. Okay, I've broken this down and I've shown this here. This is basically the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin. All right, in a nutshell, we go up, we peak, we come down, we accumulate through this period. Then leading into the halving, the price starts to come back up. We go through a big bull market. We peak out typically on the 1st of January after a 2-year bull run. This is a 2-year period. Then we drop about 85 to 86, 87%. After 11,000, like this was an 11,000% increase over a 2-year period, mind you. For those of you that are new to my channel, Bitcoin was $373 down here, rose all the way up to $20,000 in 2 years. Okay. Then after that 11,000% increase, it drops back down around 86%, which a lot of people that don't understand what's going on are thinking, oh my God, the sky's falling. It's the end of the world. A lot of these people are people who, it's dumb money. They're people who are waiting until the news and everybody else tells them to buy in. They buy in at the top. They get a couple months of happiness and joy, and then the price starts to plummet, and they think they've been duped. Okay, it's just they don't know what's happening. They aren't familiar with the cycles. This hit a lot of people, including myself, in the last cycle. Now we all know what's coming. We already know what's happening. We are about right here, right now. This is what we're expecting. We're coming close into the next halving, which is going to probably happen sometime around May. Could happen in April based on the hash rate and the number of miners that are mining Bitcoin. If you're not that familiar with cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, watch the rest of my channel. You'll learn a lot. So we're about here. And so I'm not saying we're going to go up another 11,000. This is a complete duplication of this. This has not happened yet. But even if we got a third of this, now, and this is the entire market cap of crypto, by the way, but Bitcoin pretty much leads this charge, okay? So, you know, the question is, if you threw $5,000 or $10,000 and buying one Bitcoin around here, instead of going into Amazon and spending, you know, 3-4 months launching your product, spending all this money, then taking every bit of your product and putting it back into the business to keep it going, to keep it moving, you're really busting your tail to sell a product. Now, the idea is with buying Bitcoin, you sit on Bitcoin, hold it for a year. You know, a lot of people, including myself, believe over the course of this next 2 years, Bitcoin's probably going to hit $100,000. Now, I've seen YouTubers talk about, I've been selling Amazon now for 3-4 years. I don't really pay myself very much out of my profits because I keep working on making my business bigger. Okay, that's smart. However, for me personally, especially at this particular moment in time, especially with China's issues with the coronavirus, what's going on with manufacturing, and what I'm sure are going to amount to a significant number of manufacturing delays and things like that, I see us having some big issues. Okay. I personally believe that as of right now, it's likely going to be much more profitable for newcomers to just buy and hold Bitcoin. And I'm not saying that because I'm crypto biased. I am a hugely bullish proponent of Bitcoin. However, there's a flip side to this. And I'm going to say this very clearly. A big part of Amazon FBA sales is the idea of being able to private label your own products with your own brand name, okay? Ultimately building a brand for your product. Doing all of this work and making all of this investment into a single product right now, to me, based off of everything that I've been digging up, and I am not saying that there are not golden opportunities out there out of the millions of products on Amazon. I am not saying that. But I'm saying for the general person who is jumping into this fresh, okay? I'm going to be real honest with you. I would pretty much guarantee that the majority of you guys watching this video just in the week I've spent researching all of this different stuff, you are not going to cover as much ground as I have in the same period of time, likely even in a month. Okay, this is what I've been doing pretty much all day, every day for a week. And when I say pretty much, I mean from the time I wake up, which has been typically around 8:39 lately, and I'm going to sleep. I'm concluding my night at around 2:30. Like, I mean, it's 1 a.m. right now, and I still have plenty to do tonight. Okay, so the point that I want to make, and then I'm gonna close this out. I am of the belief that if you are going to get into Amazon FBA, number one, you're going to need capital to do it. I would suggest starting with double the amount of capital that Dan is needed for your first product run. And if your capital supplies are limited, then focus on much less expensive products with a decent profit margin. I personally think that if you're not getting at least 50 to 100% profit on your products that you're selling, it's probably not going to be worth your time. Unless, if you are an Amazon FBA person and you're looking to get into building a passive income empire, focus on building an empire. And by that I mean the easiest way to, so in other words, if I'm going to be putting $5,000 into this product, well, I don't want to just have this product. I want to be building my brand name. I don't want to build a brand name for pencils and then microphones and then monitors and tennis shoes, right? I don't want, my brand name isn't going to mean anything to anybody if that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just randomly picking a lot of crap projects that I could buy cheap, flip for a quick profit if I'm lucky, depending on the competition and how much I'm pumping into pay-per-click and yada, 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 okay? That's all a lot of these guys are trying to make it sound like you need to do, and I honestly do think it's bullshit. And from a sales and marketing guy, I'm telling you, my goal and what I'm zeroing in on is building a brand for a series of similar products in the same industry and create a superior product to what's currently available and start establishing trust and rapport with customers. Because ultimately, if I'm going to invest this kind of money in trying to launch one individual product, it's a one-off, it doesn't mean much. The profits are okay, but that's also hoping I'm selling out of my runs each and every month, or even half, okay? And then I'm going to continue reordering. But if I'm building a particular brand name, and I would love to tell you guys what I'm ultimately planning on doing, and I will when it's all done, but I am going to be doing exactly that. I am not going to focus on the little one-off products that I hope to make a quick buck off of. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to go in the way I go in on everything. You know, I'm kind of one of those guys where it's like, you know, I can be a wild comet and I can shoot into the sky and then I'm kind of kidding. But I go all in. And that's my point. I go all in for better or worse, and I learn a hell of a lot from it. I just love the challenge. I love the challenge of learning something new and being able to establish some success in something new. And honestly, once the challenge is gone, I lose interest. I mean, that's just honestly how I've been my whole life. I just love to discover. I love to learn. And I am going to be continuing to learn a hell of a lot, but I'm ultimately going to be building my own brand around a series of products that are of like mind in a similar industry, but they do different things for different people. And so that's where I'm at. So as far as I'm concerned, trying to do one-off product, you're in my opinion, and you know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not licensed for any financial advice. You know, I've got the disclaimer going down in the bottom of the video and all that stuff. But, you know, for me personally, it's a safer bet for me to just continue accumulating Bitcoin and holding it for the next 2 years. We're very likely in a bull market. I believe we are. We've started the bull market. We're coming close to the next halving. And, you know, once that halving happens, this is pretty much the halving right here. Once that happens, we might accumulate a little bit. and then we're going to continue going up. I mean, the price is going to go up and down with higher highs, higher lows for the next 2 years until we peak out again at what I believe is probably going to be somewhere around $140,000 before it starts to come down and correct for another bear market season. But in that meantime, you know, I've been sitting through the bear market now for 2 years, watching the entire cryptocurrency industry come to its knees in what is a very cyclical thing. It's just a 4-year cycle that's happened since the dawn of Bitcoin. And it's going to continue to happen most likely until we've truly achieved mass adoption. But because we're at the ground floor still of a lot of what's going on in the cryptocurrency space, there is, in my opinion, a lot more money to be made in buying and holding than there is investing in products that you're going to have to continue working on, building, slowly putting all of your pennies back into the business and growing it. And the only way I believe that that's truly worth it in this current state, based off of everything I've been doing in Amazon FBA, all of the research that I've been doing, every video I've watched, every article I've read, the people I've talked to, all of it. Either do it to build a legitimate brand with its own website, your own marketing, on-site, off-site, the whole nine, or you're likely just going to get chewed up by the competition out. And so in closing, I do want to say, you know, I'm going to be updating CryptoCrow.io on a regular basis as I continue to dive into what's happening. But save your money from buying any courses. You're going to learn as much or more from a lot of the free YouTube content that's available out there. And I assure you, I would be shocked if you learned anything different or better by dropping $300, $600, $1,000, $10,000 on a lot of these bogus courses. And you know, everything that I do on CryptoCrow.io is free. I just launched it, so the community's not that big yet. I'm waiting for those forums. I have an idea of something I want to do that'll really make that community pop, but I don't want to spend the money on it until people start caring. Which I don't expect to happen until a lot of this stuff has, you know, I've built up a lot more of this goings on. But yeah, save your money from those courses. You're better off, in my opinion, buying Bitcoin than you are buying somebody's course. It's not going to teach you much. And the reality is that these guys, I know, these guys are not filling in the blanks for you. I've watched so much of this stuff, and they try to act like they're really helpful, but they're not filling in the blanks. And if they tell you not to do something, chances are it's what they're doing, and they don't want to build their competition. So keep that in mind. And if you're watching a lot of other Amazon FBA type videos, keep in mind that they're probably not telling you everything. And so you're going to have to do your own research, just like in crypto, and you're going to have to come to your own conclusions as to what you feel is going to be beneficial and what isn't. So on that note, hopefully this is helpful to you. I'm sure I will be back with more Amazon FBA and building your passive income empire series very, very soon. Have a good evening and have a good day. And crow your coins. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me.